Hello everyone, this is Cutlex again, bringing to you my quarterfinals match against Thorn, who, if you aren't a follower, or maybe if you've been watching my videos, you'll know that was my round 5 opponent, and we've been paired together in the top cut immediately. And as such, there will be a bit of I don't know if I'm going to be repeating myself, but there's going to be a little bit of analysis that has some data behind it. So I've got our teams pulled up here, and once again, she's running a Sidekick team with a couple uh, friends along for the ride, and I'm running the Occult Mass Mystify team. And per last time, her team still crippling weakness to earth and poison. So after our last match and the unholy things that Fungi did to her team, I would not be too surprised here if Fungi gets banned. Now, I still am not 100% sure what is correct. I think that Fungi has more variance. So if you're coming at this and you think of yourself as an underdog, maybe you want to go with Fungi and hope that Fungi performs for me like it did when I played Marsh. But if you think that your team is good and solid and on average better than mine, then you might want to ban Fungi and give me the higher floored mon of Nautilid. Of course, she could just throw me for a total loop and ban someone else like Rainbow Slime or Troll, who is devastating against her team. But no, I really think this comes down to whether it's Fungi or Nautilid. And for me, I mean, it's boring, but there's no mon on her team that even approaches the threat level of Drakazul for my strategy. So it's just like 99.9% a pick of Drakazul on this team. Like if I were to postulate, if I were to make this a longer video going into full analysis and stuff, there are other options here. I am sick of fighting against the monk line. So like there is a world where I would ban monk, but really Dragazul is my pick. So I'll roll over to the next graphic, and lo and behold, she has banned Fungi, which for the first video that I'm releasing in this tournament, we're gonna have Nautilid. And we're gonna get to see all of the unholy stuff that Nautilid gets up to and why it's been banned most of this tournament. I did have one previous match in this tournament where my opponent chose to ban Fungi because their team likewise had a crippling earth weakness. And Fungi just was missed, but Nautilid powered up the face of evil to do some really evil shit. And so we're going to see how this goes. I've got my Nautilid, and I'm going to build a Mass Mystify team. I was thinking whether I was going to go full Mass Mystify and run the Cataclysm only offense, but ultimately I really want Troll here because Troll wrecks basically this entire team. So we're going to roll into this with Nautilid. We've got Grulu and Mad Eye as supports. And then we're going to have my two remaining Mass Mystify Mons and Troll as backup. And we're going to see how that goes. All right, so we have a team here full of Earthweak and Changeling, and no Lion, which is making Troll happy. Now Troll is super effective against everything. But it doesn't change my opener here. We're going to start with Rainbow Blob with Nautilid and Grulu instead of Mad Eye. Even though Mad Eye has shocked and would do a little bit, go a little bit of ways to try to lower some of this dodge, I thought Grulu would be more resilient. So we really want to stay up on the Mon count. And we get an okay start with Nautilid. We only got the single sorcery on Rainbow Blob. So Rainbow Blob is not doing enough damage there to wipe out that monk, but just barely. Rainbow Blob really wants 3 or 4 sorcery to start doing crimes. And unfortunately, we got a sort of mid to low roll on Nautilid, which still gave us a ton of buffs and full shield. Enough so that that ultimate from the buffed up Ornithopter didn't even break through their shields. So now we're going to use Arcane Shield to get some buffs on Rainbow Blob again. And Rainbow Blob has 2 sorcery, so we're going to go ahead and use the Solar Burst, hopefully get some more debuffs, get some more buffs on Rainbow Blob, hopefully. And now we have the 3 sorcery, which is enough there with the damage and the debuffs to knock down 2 mons and leave Ornithopter with a ton of debuffs and little health. But, you know, Ascendant's going to do some Ascendant stuff. Didn't get a whole lot of buffs on there, but did get the Ornithopter back up to full health. So the Ornithopter, I think, maybe had a preview there to kill or to knock down Rainbow Blob. But regardless, the Changeling comes in and counterfeits my Cataclysm, which is super good on Changeling because of its Proliferate. But with my Mage Flask and regen on Face of Evil, he easily out-heals the debuff damage, and with the Phoenix affinities up to do awful stuff, now with 5 stacks of sorcery. As you can see, he's got 9 combo, and second attack, it's lethal on basically everything on the field. So I'm trying to decide what I want to do here, whether I care enough to try to end that Ornithopter, or whether I want to take the Ascendant down before it becomes a problem. And I'm thinking that now that the Ornithopter doesn't have its ultimate, that it's not that big of a deal. And now I've got to check debuffs here, and we verify that Ascendant has poison and burn, so I'm pretty sure Ascendant's just going to die to the debuffs without regen. So now we're going to blow this Ion Beam on Ornithopter. Hopefully get rid of some of these debuffs, put some more buffs, get put on some debuffs. And now Ornithopter has 2 weakness and just barely misses that kill again. But we're going to see what happens here. She chooses to use Ornithopter first, builds up some decent combo. Now we have a long slash from Changeling, which should also build up some decent combo with that Proliferate. And then there's that Gravity from Wolf. Very strong. I think Grulu got a dodge there, which saves it. And now I'm going to bring in Mad Eye, and I'm trying to decide whether I want to use Troll or Mad Lord for a giant Cataclysm. I think we go with the conservative option here, which is Troll. With Troll, I can use Cataclysm on Mad Eye and still do a big AoE with Earthquake. And if I need to with Troll, if something is a bit bulkier than I was expecting, I have that giant rock that they cannot dodge. But we have some mana problems on Grulu because of 2 stacks of Chill, so we're only going to be able to do the level 2 Acid Rain after this. So we're hoping we can get some combo here. And we get some combo. We're still getting combo. We get a 36 hit on that Cataclysm. Pretty good. That's the best one I've seen on my Mad Eye. And so we're going to throw this little Acid Tempest and see what happens. No! Because of all of the armor break on these monsters, the Armor Crush, or whatever the passive that Mad Eye has, gets us up to 69 combo. And these poor monsters die on the first hit of this big AoE. And we go to our game 2. So now I'm going to be going second, which the big adaptation here is that I swap out my Hexing Rod for a Heavy Shield on Nautilid, because I think that this Ornithopter might be able to take Nautilid out. It is a wind magic attacker, which is the esoteric weakness that Nautilid has. But instead, my opponent goes for the Face of Evil, trying to knock down its Rainbow, or its Phoenix Affinity. And once again, we get a sort of pretty mid to low hit on Nautilid, which once again leaves me with a ton of buffs and shielding. So, you know, it's still pretty good. But we don't get a whole lot of debuffs there from Grulu. So it looks like we've got a decent chance at a Slime Shot taking down one of these. Or we could fire a Cataclysm off and see what happens. So we'll see what kind of evil the Face of Evil's plotting right now. And we get just enough to burn down that Vero. And Changeling comes back in to do some crimes on me, and we'll see how that goes. Right now, I think Thorn is trying to figure out what they want to do, or what she wants to do, and counterfeiting that Cataclysm. So now I'm worried that the Ornithopter might have an AoE that's non-ult, but no, it just uses that. She is sick of seeing the awful things that Nautilid does, and Nautilid goes down. So now that Rainbow Blob doesn't have its Cataclysm, it's a pretty easy choice here to use the combo building Cataclysm from Mad Eye. We're going to see what kind of combo we get on that. We get some decent debuffs. We get 23 hits. Not bad. And we'll probably follow up here with checking. Yeah. With 23, we're looking to see now whether, like, because I need to kill that Ornithopter. And I decided that if I could have used the follow-up with Grulu to finish it off if it didn't make it, but we really wanted to kill with that second so that we could take a third turn attack here on this Changeling and see if Grulu's proliferate, and the debuffs just barely get there. So now my opponent is down to her last 3 Mons. Pretty good team, but unfortunately Wolf is not quite as first turn brutal as its other spirit animal brothers. It really depends on primal rage, the age related stacks to really stack up and do too much damage. So on turn 1 it can do some damage as you see there, but it's really it's not gonna sweep me with 0 buffs. So I wasn't too worried there. Thorn really needed to wipe out all 3 mons to stay in this. And she got 1, and now I'm looking at this Cataclysm, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, Slime Shot on that wolf to lower its health and build a little combo. That's going to make for a really nice Cataclysm. Yeah, look at that. It should be no problem taking on the wolf, and if we get lucky on these dodges... Oh no, we didn't. The monks just dodged 75% of that Cataclysm. They're fully buffed up. We're going to see what kind of damage that Ascendant can do here on the strike back. Gets a ton of Face of Evil's buffs, but does not take it down. So now we're going to use Ion Beam here on Ascendant, because I really want to get rid of Ascendant, because Ascendant has aging. We'll see if we can get rid of some of its buffs, stack up some debuffs. And now I've got 2 monsters with strong single target earth damage. I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to kill Ascendant. We get a little lucky there with those dodges, and we take it down on the second attack. And so we'll try our luck there with that Poison Bomb. And with the debuffs, we get there. So once again, we're facing off against Thorn's starting line, and the same line comes out. This is the survival line. This is my toughest line. But there is a risk here because every single monster that's out right now for me is weak to magical wind, which is all that Wind Affinity Ornithopter has. But Ornithopter is not really a turn 1 juiced up attacker. So as you see there, Face of Evil survives, no problem, doesn't lose its Phoenix Affinity. So now we get an okay buff from Nautilid. We throw out our combo builder there with Grulu, and we're seeing now that Vero has 58% dodge because of Concealed and an Errant Spell Shield buff. So we really can't just throw out that Cataclysm. So we're trying to figure out what we're going to take on with the Slime Shot, and I really want to kill that Ornithopter, but I'm thinking if the Ornithopter hasn't been a huge threat so far... Maybe kill the monk? No, we have to respect this Ornithopter. And I think Ornithopter has buffing restore, and it just heals all of the debuffs that it receives from the martial prowess. And so now Vero survives and beats down Grulu a little bit, and now we've got this big ult tornado with the juiced up Ornithopter, and the punishment brings down Nautilid. And so now we're in a little bit of trouble here, because we just lost 2 Mons on turn 2. and Thorn's monsters are pretty well buffed up. This is sort of what Sidekick does. And Ornithopter in particular, it uses a ton of charge and then gets it back from its buffs. So we're going to go ahead and see what we can do here with an Acid Tempest, and we don't get a whole very good Acid Tempest. I'm trying to decide if I want to kill something with that boulder, but the boulder has such a crappy preview on that Ornithopter. So I'm trying to think, what the hell can we do here to try to get back in this? Because that Ornithopter is going to kill at will with all those buffs and charge stacks. So I'm thinking we're just going to have to YOLO this on a Cataclysm from Face of Evil. And even though Face of Evil only has 2 sorcery, it's not really enough to do awful crimes. We're going to see what happens here. And maybe we'll get... No, not even close on that monk. So now we're pretty much cooked here. We've got Changeling that's going to build up a ton of combo. And then if this Ornithopter has an AoE, it might just wipe my team. But the fact that Thorn is taking some time there to select a move makes me think that she doesn't have the non-ult AoE on Orny. And as such, yeah, she's choosing to single target attack my combo builder. So now I'm going to be stuck with 3 DPS. And Troll does okay their building combo with Earthquake. But if it's using Earthquake first turn, it's not going to be able to throw one of those huge boulders. So now the plan is I have to kill 2 of these monsters to stay in this. So we're hoping that this slime attack here with the buffs is going to be enough to kill that monk. And we're going to hope that that big boulder gets there. And we get a little crit on there, so we got a little lucky. And just barely monk survives. So if we were optimistic before, now we're really in trouble. If we had brought this down to parity 3-on-3, maybe we would only lose 1 monster. Oh, and then there's that. Oh, the Changeling, turn 1, just brings down the basic Evil Phoenix affinity, and then we get wrecked by that Polar Winds. And this buffed up wolf has no problem taking down that Mad Lord. So now I should concede here, but I really want to see what kind of juice Troll has. This is not something, in my mind, this isn't something that could be uncommon in this match, of going down to final monsters against each other. So I really wanted to see if Troll had enough juice to take Monk down there, and I was pretty happy with how that turned out. So now Thorn is just choosing how she wants to get rid of this Troll. Executed, you know, executioner style. And we're going to get ready to be on the play again. And this time I make some minor changes. We've got Hexing Rod back on Nautilid instead of the big shield. And we're going to run Mad Eye this time because I really want... I'm sick of that dodge, and I want the Nautilid's automatic placement of shock to lower the enemy's dodge from their concealed. And we'll see if that helps me with Rainbow Blob get a first turn kill that's been eluding me. Gonna hope we get a nice buff from Nautilid. And look at all those sorcery stacks. Not on my DPS. So, okay, whatever. We have, I really wanted to kill Ornithopter here, but Ornithopter did not get a shock stack, so we'll go for Monk. We'll take Monk out, and no way, not even close. Monk gets a crazy, Martial Prowess goes off and gives it Spell Shield, really messing up the attack routine, and just makes my entire turn 1 a whiff. So now Ornithopter has been spending this whole game, like the whole thing that this Mass Mystify wants to do is build up 5 sorcery stacks on Rainbow Blob so that Rainbow Blob can wreck the other team. But Ornithopter, its main attack, dispels buffs and gives more attacks for doing that, which could do more dispels. So she's keeping my buffs under control, and even with all of that, Rainbow Blob, now just with 2 stacks of sorcery, the other team has a ton of debuffs on them. I'm trying to decide now whether I can chance this Cataclysm or whether I need to take down that Ornithopter. Because if I don't kill that Ornithopter, I might be in big trouble here with its ult. And the Ornithopter is still around, and that Monk just barely holds on. Though the Monk does have a wound from severe upkeep, from Nautilid, so it doesn't quite get very much healing. So it's probably going to die this next turn if there's a team around to wipe it. But with the counterfeit there, the Orni is not able to wipe me with its big AoE ult, and with with the Phoenix Affinity from Rainbow Blob, it's still around to do crimes. And I'm trying to figure out here whether I want to kill that monk, and I really want to use the Cataclysm third so that we can do more damage to the monk. But I really don't think that I can be that greedy, because now this turn the Ornithopter definitely will have its ult available, and it will completely destroy me. So we build some combo here just to make sure, and with 5 stacks and all of that combo, Face of Evil kills Ornithopter in the first hit of that attack. So now my opponent is in pretty big trouble here. The Changeling cannot use its ultimate, so she's going to be counting on the ultimate from Wolf to get back in this, and she needs to do some big stuff on this turn to get back in here. And Changeling attacks first to build combo, and with the proliferate first turn kill with Changeling, and we get an ultimate from the Ascendant. And then we'll see what's going on here. The Wolf with no buffs just cannot get enough damage to knock down that Mad Eye. So now we're going to see what Nautilid can do. And we're going to do a big Cataclysm here to swing back, because I'm pretty sure we can kill that Wolf with a big Cataclysm. And we get an amazing buff with Nautilid. This is the kind of unholy shit Nautilid does. The one button and that Mad Lord is fully buffed. So we get an okay hit with that, and we just fire the Cataclysm off. And Cataclysm kills everything. Good game. So I have to admit here that I think that Thorn did extremely well in this match, considering the things that were stacked up against her. I think this is an unfortunate matchup for her. My team is very strong in general, but against an Earth weak team like this, it is especially strong. All of my monsters have access to Earth attacks. Fungi is an unholy terror against Earth weak teams. Troll feasts. And so it's really tough to trade roundhouse picks with me, which is sort of what you have to do against this Occult Mass Mystify team. It is very hard to endure the attacks to try to gain value. And as such, I think Thorn did pretty well here, but it was sort of stacked up against her. I really liked the use of the Changeling. The counterfeit on Cataclysm is awesome. Death Blow and Proliferate, stealing that Cataclysm just gives you so many hits and adds a bunch of debuffs. It's so cool. And the Changeling just being able to kill stuff going first, it did really well. It did really well. It's one of those matches where you look at those Changeling and you're like, yeah, that's awesome. Let's use Changeling. And then you try to use it, and you can't figure out how it works. At least that's how it works for me. If you guys do good with Changeling, I'm happy for you. You let me know in the comments how that goes. But beyond that, this was a pretty fun match. Mass Mystify did Mass Mystify things. Thorn did her best to try to prevent it, but we got there 3-1. So thank you to Thorn for this match. I think you did really well. You had a pretty good run in this tournament. And we are on to the semifinals, which I think might be another grudge match. So we'll see you there. Cheers.